I'm back reporting from my ivory tower in a Hugo Boss suit, rocking Gucci shades, armed with the truth. Modern women are very, very easy to F if you're the right kind of guy. They only make guys wait who they're not really attracted to. So I tell guys, if a woman is making you wait more than 3 dates, move on. Find a girl who actually wants to fuck you instead of trying to negotiate attraction, because you can never negotiate attraction. The following clip is taken from Just Pearly Things, which is a YouTube channel that people should follow. Let's get it.
Oh, that's the question.
If you're brave enough, why not?
You're stupid enough.
Go on. Wait, who said
Oh
that?
yeah, nah, I said it.
Oh, you
I said.
Oh, okay.
I said if you're stupid enough, then yeah, go for it. Like,
Yeah.
but nah, not more so than anything. Date who you want. More so, just understand that there are consequences for dating women that have chosen to make those decisions, and if you're able to live with the consequences, kudos to you. But more so, you should understand that you won't like the repercussions of what
Yeah.
is going to come out of that.
I guess it depends on if they've healed or not.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
they probably.
Whenever anyone says healed or did you go to therapy or any healing words like, oh, have you healed from your trauma yet? Some bullshit is gonna come out of their mouth.
It's just
So
about
I'm expecting this dude to not make any sense.
to say you can have a bad boy phase because you're going through something. Maybe you're young, you've got issues. People mature, people grow. Like women.
They all have bad boy phases when they're young because they're actually attracted to bad boys. On a sexual level, that's what turns them on. They're not turned on by good guys, which is fine. That's why I tell guys to be bad boys. Don't be a nice guy, because nice guys finish last. That's completely true. And actually, these days, nice guys don't finish at all. So don't be a nice guy. And I'm not saying like be a fucking psychopath or like be abusive, but be a bad boy. Make her your third, fourth, fifth priority. Your business has got to come first, your career, job, whatever. Then like your mother, your father, whatever. Then your dog, and then her. And they'll love you for it. Trust me.
grow, they change.
Yeah, but the problem is,
Yeah, but by the time they actually learn, they're too old. Like you, like this woman here. And by that time, a high value G like me doesn't want you. Because why would I want some busted up puniti when I could get some like fresh 21-year-old thing who hasn't been through trauma and all the bullshit from the bad boys? Like, think about all the times this female has had her heart broken. All the trauma, all the nonsense, all the psychos that have been in her life. Do you want to take up all that trauma from her previous life? Hell nah. Especially if it comes at the same cost as a 21-year-old would. Because her maintenance is going to be almost the same in terms of cost. So why would I want her? They want brand new Lamborghini Aventador money for a busted up Toyota Camry. That's what they want. That's what this woman wants. And I know she's gonna say some nonsense already.
this is the issue that a lot of men find themselves in. Is the girls really wanted the bad boys?
Exactly.
They just accepted the nice guy because they couldn't lock the bad boy down.
Exactly.
And really, that's who they want to be with.
Is it?
Facts.
Or is
Pearl is so fucking based, bro. She spits nothing but facts.
it just maybe you have trauma and this person that treats you like shit, you're like, oh, I'm so attracted to him, but it's because you're far.
No, because they're at a subliminal level, women are attracted to men who display that they don't really need them. They like that shit. They like men with options. They like knowing that the guy can just leave her and go fuck another chick tonight. They like knowing that they're with a guy who has options, who can get other pussy. They don't want a guy who can't get other bitches. Their pussy dries up. if you do that. That's why you guys will notice if you have a girlfriend, you can't keep other pussy off you. But as soon as you don't have a girlfriend, you can't find a bitch to fuck.
Father
To
was
save your own
disapproving
life,
of
bro.
you, and so you want this person that rejects you.
That's a very
Maybe-
specific.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think women are attracted to traits like they call it the dark triad traits. So women are attracted to traits that are like negative about guys because they're also positive. Like the guy, like why do we date guys that punch holes in the wall? It's because the same guy that is super aggressive, like maybe towards us and just in general, can also protect us.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
But that'll make too much sense for this woman. You can see her brain's just fucking frying right now. You can see by her face.
Gonna help.
yeah,
It's like those equations, like the meme with the equations on the sides with that white woman, and like there's a chalkboard behind her, and all kinds of equations are on the screen. You guys know what I'm talking about.
And so it's like a double. The same guy that treats you like shit, it shows that he thinks highly of himself because he can stand up for himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what a lot of guys find, they said 20 to 25% of marriages are sexless. And typically it's the woman holding out. Like guys want to have sex.
Yeah, but is that because she's repressed? Because women are either demonized for being sexual, or they're taught hide your sexuality. You need to be more than that.
You think
Repressed in a marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what?
you notice both of those options, both of those things that she mentioned, none of them include any accountability on the part of women. You notice that? Let's run that back.
Either demonized for being. Yeah, but is that because she's repressed? Because women are either demonized for being sexual, or they're taught hide your sexuality. You need to be more than that.
So nowhere is there any accountability on women, or maybe like there's no mention of, okay, maybe some women choose poorly, or maybe, you know, it might be slightly a woman's fault. Nope, not even once, bro.
You think if
Repressed in a marriage.
yeah,
It's impossible that it could be a woman's fault.
Yeah,
That's why they never admit to when they're wrong. It's very, very difficult to get a female to admit that she's wrong. You can take them there step by step, but you can't do it purely by logic. You have to involve some emotion into it because they don't think logically.
but why are they repressed sexually?
But why would you be repressed in a marriage?
Because
you're supposed to
you-
consummate and consummate and
because
consummate
you
marriage.
could be brought up in a family where sex is very taboo, and as a woman you either you need to be more than pretty.
but I feel like
but
it's-
even in, like, say we take the Catholic Church or Islam, once you get married, you're supposed to be chop, no
Yeah.
contraception. So I don't really understand that one.
Yeah,
every day.
yeah, the message is always like wait till marriage. I feel like it's not. They're not like don't have sex
but
at all.
it's also like don't be sexual outside of marriage. And if you grow up with someone saying like cover yourself up, oh, don't put yourself on display, don't express yourself in that way, we think all of a sudden when you're married you're going to be like, oh, I'm this wild sensual woman. No, you're
I
going
think
to
it
be
could
like,
be.
Yeah, they do say, because they say nobody gets married quicker than two horny Muslims or two
Yeah.
horny Christians. Because you want to go and do the job that you've been suppressed.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think women are suppressed in society at all. I think we're actually rewarded for being sexual. I mean, you get more
Yeah.
followers on Instagram, you get more
100%.
DMs, you can make money on OnlyFans, and even when people try to shame women and say, "Hey, that's hoe behavior," they say slut shaming. So they'll shame men for shaming women.
Okay.
So I don't really think women are,
What's the first thing a girl says to another girl when they stop being friends? You're a hoe. You're a slut. It's because even women deep down, they know that being a whore is a bad thing.
Then even if you are
Whether they admit
in
it or not.
Instagram or being whatever, you're slut shamed or whatever you're doing, just because someone is doing that to you doesn't mean that you are then more likely to get married.
what do you mean?
So if you're very promiscuous and open about it, are you going to be married?
That's true. You're
You
correct.
know,
Probably
so
not.
Women that tend to be married perhaps are more traditional
Yeah, and she's not married. I there's no ring on her finger.
and would
Women like her don't get married, man, because the guys that she wants, they don't want her. Like the masculine, alpha males that she seeks for long-term commitment, they don't want her long-term. They'll pump and dump her. They'll smash and dash. But bro, they don't want post 35-year-old argumentative feminists. Recreational use only. Short term.
Hide their sexuality, be a bit more covert, and portray this image of like
Purity.
yes, yeah,
Especially
wherever that came. Yeah,
Especially depends on the environment that you're in as well.
Mhm.
Your background, your culture, everything has a factor on that as well.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would also, like that kind of home training would also be associated with being like submissive to your husband.
Mm-hmm.
So then the sexual side would come into it when he initiates it.
But that doesn't mean you feel comfortable in your sexuality. He might want to go all the time, and you haven't learned to express
You
yourself
are
in that
if it's
way.
the right guy, you wanna have sex all the time. Every girl has had a guy that she wants to have sex all
that
the
doesn't
time.
mean that's the one you marry.
No, I
Exactly. Hence the title of this video.
know, but that's the point. That's why like that's
Oh,
the whole
okay,
point
okay.
is
Yeah,
because
okay.
you're
There we go,
marrying
man.
because you're marrying the guy that you're not that attracted to.
Exactly.
And so, like-
most of these women settle for the guy that they marry eventually at 29, 30, right before the party's about to end. And that's because the reason these marriages don't last is because these women are not really attracted to these men that they end up marrying. They wanted the guy in their 20s. Chad, that's who they wanted, but Chad didn't want them. So they end up marrying some accountant geek or some IT nerd. And then he wonders why he can't keep her in line. It's because she doesn't really want to fuck you, bro. She married you because she had to. Because you were the best financial option, the most financially viable option that she had.
Like basically the more partners a woman has, the less likely she is to have a happy marriage. So if someone has a bad boy past, like she's less likely to be satisfied in her marriage.
Facts.
Because if you're a virgin when you get married, you have an 80% chance of getting into a happy marriage after 10 years. If you have had sex with more than 5 people, which I think most men pray for nowadays.
Yeah, that would be ideal, to be honest.
It drops down to 25%.
Okay.
And so I think that's why historically we've always protected women and like tell them to like not be sexual outside of marriage, because the bond is so strong for women during sex. We release a hormone
is.
during sex that men don't.
Yep.
Oxytocin.
Yeah, and the more you have sex with people, the less you release. It's like a defense mechanism, basically.
wow.
Yeah, and eventually it's like sticky tape. You stick it, unstick it, stick it, unstick it. With each stick and unstick, it becomes weaker.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it all comes to that bondage. You're saying of the person that you marry, you might not actually be satisfied with sexually. Oxytocin is only released when you actually come. So if you're with a guy who doesn't make you come, you're not going to have that bond.
Your husband. What if it happens?
Wait, say that again.
Your husband. What if it happens?
What if he?
If he doesn't get you there?
But why would you, let's say hypothetical, we're not talking about anyone, but say, why would you ever marry someone like that if he
Because
couldn't?
you're a virgin, and it's
Well, if you're a virgin, if you're a virgin, you don't know different.
I hear it.
So, like,
Yeah.
how would you know the sex
Fair
is
point.
bad if you're a virgin?
I hear that.
And
Well-
and some girls don't have the option. Like, you can't have everything in a guy.
So when do they realize that it's shit, or do they just go on thinking it's shit their whole life?
What do you? Well, I mean, the average age of first marriage in the UK is 31.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you're
So-
not going to be a virgin, really.
No, yeah.
Exactly what I said. On their 29th birthday, these bitches decide they want to get married because they know their value is expiring.
Yeah, so it's like those girls. I mean, they've obviously, if they start having sex at 16, like one a year, that's like at least 12, 13.
Bro, by the time they get to 29, 30, a lot of these women have like 45, 50 bodies. Some of them have 100 bodies. I was recently talking to this 24, 25-year-old chick, and she had more than 100 bodies on her. At 24 years old. So a lot of these women at 29, 30, they're going to have extremely high body counts, and at least one of those guys was taller than you. At least one of those guys had better tongue game. At least one of those guys had a bigger dick. At least one of those guys was funnier, blah, 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 etc. Do you want to compete with the ghosts of all of those men? Personally, I would not marry a chick who had a high body count. No way in hell. It wouldn't even matter that much if we didn't live in a Western country where you can get taken to the cleaners. She can literally take half your assets, half your money, even if she leaves you, which is ridiculous. So the risk is too high and the reward is too little, because in a Western country, there's nothing that you don't get out of a woman if you're not married to her that you would get getting married to her. Like, you can get sex out of a woman even if you're not married to her. You can get a relationship otherwise. So there's no benefit for men to get married. It only benefits women, and historically it always has benefited women. But they don't seem to understand the value of it anymore because of the social welfare state, and the government takes care of these women anyways, even if they don't work, even if they don't get a man with men's money, because men are still net tax payers. Women are net spenders. Most of the credit card debt is female, I think 70 to 80%. But I digress with all these facts and all these truths. I'm like a human Wikipedia in a Hugo Boss suit, and handsome, and I'm tall.
Right.
Yeah, they've done a mad thing.
And I don't trust these hoes.
Yeah, and so it's like, I mean, you can't have everything, and I think when time's running out, you got to pick what you want. So some girls are going to marry the guy they're not
Exactly.
attracted to, but the problem is the guys don't know that.
Yeah, no, these guys are playing. These guys are bringing knives to a bazooka fight with these women. Because at 29, a lot of these guys have like 10, 15 bodies on them, and they're dealing with chicks who have 100 and 120 bodies. And then they wonder why they can't get them to act right. Shout out to Andrew Tate. That's his quote.
Yeah, because he thinks that as
Yeah.
men, our insecurity is we always want a woman that's more attractive than us. So we think, oh yeah, we've hit the jackpot. Really and truly, you're like her like 10th pick or 100th pick, when that's your
Damn,
prime
100.
number one.
Ooh,
And you've
100.
worked this whole life.
And that
like-
guy is not her first pick. He's her last pick. And that's why these women low-key resent these men. Because they despise the fact that they're with them, and they had to settle for like a little beta soy milk enthusiast. That's why you guys got to get your game up, man. It's not just enough to have money. You can't be a fat fuck with money out here. Because even Biggie Smalls got played, and Tupac fucked his bitch. So don't be that guy. Be Tupac, don't be Biggie. But I do like Biggie too, man. It's one of the greatest to ever do it. But I'm using it as an example.
Like, no one ever liked you, and you worked your whole life to become an accountant, and you got a qualified accountant and worked for 10 years, and you finally got someone sloppy.
It's funny you use the accountant example. I think that's the same example I used.
Become an accountant, and you got a qualified accountant and worked for 10 years. And
Let's run
that's your
that back.
prime
I
A
agree.
number. Yeah, because he thinks that as
Yeah.
men, our insecurity is we always want a woman that's more attractive than us. So we think, oh yeah, we've hit the jackpot. Really and truly, you're like her like 10th pick or 100th pick, when
Yeah.
that's your
Damn,
prime A
100.
number one.
Ooh,
And you've
100.
worked this whole life, like no one ever liked you, and you worked your whole life to become an accountant, and you got a qualified accountant and worked for 10 years, and you finally got someone sloppy seconds, and you're so happy, but it's just sloppy at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's a life story.
Oh my God.
And all of these
Nah.
women are sloppy out here. They're all sloppy, especially at 29, 30. They have high body counts. But even at 24, 25 now, they have high body counts. So the younger you can go, the better. And that's one of the reasons men want younger women, is because we inherently know, whether we realize it or not, that a younger woman has a lower body count. She's going to be more pure. She's going to be less traumatized by previous relationships. She's going to be more coachable than a 29, 30-year-old woman. Because it's at 29, 30 years old, a lot of these women develop masculine traits, especially if they're career women. And guys don't want to be with other guys. I mean, unless you're gay. But a straight man does not want a masculine female. You know, unless you're into BDSM or some shit, which is not my thing. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.